Ski bums. Edith and Sam Roth were our neighbors around the corner in Woodland Hills for more than 30 years. Their daughter Nomi and our youngest Susan are lifelong best friends. The Roths are an important part of our extended family. Sam and Edith are slim and trim, like well-matched bookends. They're civilized and proactive. They've always kept us informed, lending us relevant pamphlets and reminding us of important meetings and elections. Edith, in particular, is fearless in her quiet way, and once ran for public office, won, and surprised even herself with the number of votes she received. But she doesn't drive the freeways. Sam is a gentle man, a retired doctor and co-founder of Physicians for Nuclear Responsibility. They must be close to 80 now, and seem somehow smaller, but as long as we've known them, they've stayed in shape for gardening, hiking, and skiing. Sam had a busy medical practice. Now, since retiring, he's had ample time to cultivate his flower beds, his reading, and his long walks in the neighborhood. Edith was a microbiologist who stopped working to be with her children, her piano, and her many interests, particularly in the Sierra Club. On one occasion, we house sat for them, moving in for the weekend, and I remember how livable, neat, and tidy their home was, in warm shadows with a screened koi pond in back. The Roths are both ecologically inclined and practice what they preach. We keep our house brightly lit because of Deborah's low vision. Nomi used to spend lots of time with us. Partially, I think, because her brother Dan tormented her, and partly because she felt comfortable with our free-form family life. During the summer months, she'd drop in to lounge by the pool with our girls and help herself to fruit from our trees and Diet Pepsi from the fridge. She grew tall and lovely, and we grew very fond of her. Deborah invited Nomi when she and our kids vacationed in Hawaii. Susan went skiing several times into Europe with the Roths when she and Nomi graduated from high school. Now Susan and Nome, who live about an hour apart, visit back and forth with their children. Nomi has boys, Susan girls. I've known my oldest friend since college. They go back to nursery school. Occasionally, we entertained at each other's homes, and on one particular holiday, we were introduced to the Roths' cordial, out-of-town family and a variety of interesting friends. The conversation was always lively and well-informed. One guest, a professor, was writing a book on prostitution, and he was clearly the center of attention. It was at Mammoth Mountain, when the Roths invited us to go skiing, that we became even closer. But I unexpectedly developed some ambivalence towards Sam and Edith then, at least towards their superior practice athleticism. Deborah had skied as a teenager. I had never skied. My family was into concerts and theater, not sports, although if my father had been more agile or amenable, we might have enjoyed both. The Mammoth Mountain Inn was buried in snow when we arrived, only the front entrance and the roof line visible. The parking lots were full. The skiers were ecstatic, but I felt a certain unfamiliar dread settling in. When we got to our second-floor room, a snowbank was piled high against the window, covering it with white. I was not filled with enthusiasm by the prospects ahead. Dinner in the splendid dining room was reassuring. Afterwards, we sat around the cozy, massive fireplace and watched ski movies. But the next morning, reality set in, bright and early. As soon as I had struggled into the uncomfortable rented ski boots and tried to stand, I knew I was in trouble. Hoisting the rented skis onto my shoulder, as if I knew what I was doing, nearly decapitating another guest, I followed the Roths and Deborah outside where the treacherous slopes awaited. The vast expanse of snow was impressive, as were all the skiers gracefully traversing it. The Roths helped us with our skis when we watched them swing up on a ski lift, smiling and waving what I took to be encouragement. Deborah headed off to a small slope, and I struggled over to the smallest one I could find, where tiny tots were happily and expertly cavorting the infamous bunny slope. After a 5-minute lesson in snow plowing, from an Amazon ski instructor, I hesitantly joined them, gingerly sidestepping up the forbidding mound. They gave me a cursory, superior glance, then pretended to ignore me. That would have been difficult. I was the one who kept falling, cursing, and struggling to rise. Deborah skied down several times to check on my progress. Then up she climbed again, having apparently remembered everything she once knew about skiing. The only other attention I got was from the glowing goddess ski instructor, who appeared from time to time, looked down at me, lying in the snow, one ski half buried and the other stretched out along the surface, and said things like, "Mr. Rogosin, are you down there again?" Or, "Mr. Rogosin, are you still down there?" And, plant your poles. I came to hate her, that Nazi ski instructor. The best part of the whole experience was skiing on the expansive deck, looking up at the mountain, soothing drink in hand, and watching Sam and Edith fly down the slope. That is, if they were actually the two colorful specks I had identified. That night, and most of the next day, Deborah lay in bed, paralyzed with stiffness. I was torn between sympathy and malice, since she spent most of the previous day admonishing me to get the hell up. She blamed me, unfairly I thought, for causing her to ski up and down so many times to encourage me, stiffening in the process. I'd had my own problems, I reminded her. Gradually, her mobility returned, and for the most part we had a great time with the Roths. We remained friends, and I regret any ambivalence I may have felt at Mammoth Mountain. It was not their prowess, but my own ineptitude that was the cause. As things turned out, the weekend came to an end too soon. Still, I was grateful when Sam stopped the car on the way down the mountain, and together we took the snow chains off the tires. I thought that was a good sign. We were distancing ourselves from the Nazi ski instructors and the nasty slopes, and were nearing the familiar, safe heaven of home.